Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, your host, and this podcast is here to assist people like you, executive directors, board members, and other nonprofit leaders make a bigger impact with insights, tips, and lessons learned from nonprofit leaders and experts. Having been an executive director, a board member, and now a consultant and coach, I truly understand the challenges you face. And that's why I'm here. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, so you can make a bigger impact without the burnout. And so is our sponsor, DonorBox. DonorBox isn't just a suite of helpful fundraising tools, it's a partner that helps you raise more money and supports you in retaining your donors. I love their forward-thinking approach. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. And don't forget to sign up for the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, where you'll get bite-sized, actionable tips just for nonprofit leaders like you, delivered weekly to your inbox. Sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everyone. Today, we are talking about why multitasking is hurting your productivity. I have been an executive director, a board member, a program director, a conference coordinator, a founder, a first executive director of a foundation, and it is my great joy and pleasure to be coach and trainer to many nonprofit executive directors over the past decades. So today we are talking about multitasking. I'm going to give you the lowdown on why multitasking is so bad and what to do instead. All right. Okay. I want to tell you a quick story. A couple months ago, we got a puppy, and I was in the car with the puppy. The puppy was in the back seat in a crate. But I was worried. I just picked him up, and I was worried it was a very hot day, that maybe he was a little hot. And I wanted to hand him some water. So I'm like, great. I'm going to hand him some water, multitasking, while I go through a Starbucks drive-through. And somehow, while I was doing that, I managed to lose my credit card in my own car. I can't find it anywhere. Not to worry. I've replaced it, changed the number, all that stuff. But it was such a kicker for me because I was like, oh my God, the cost of multitasking. It feels like it's going to be so simple. But here was this unintended consequence as my attention had really gone someplace else. So that is one of my recent encounters with the cost of multitasking. Why do you multitask, right? I think we feel like I did in the car that we're going to get more done, right? That we can squeeze a little something in between things, or we need to take a little break, or if we just do it all and put lots on our plate, we're going to get more done. But it is a total fallacy. When we multitask, we get cognitive overload, which causes us to do less smart things, like lose our credit cards in the car or make bad decisions. Plus, when we change from one thing to another, we lose time, and that time adds up fast. Now, a simple way to look at this, if you were to look up on Google right now, go Google context switching, the cost of context switching, you will see some famous charts that show basically once you are doing like 5 things, almost like 80% of your time is going to spent switching between things. And 20% of your time is actually going to be spent doing this stuff. Now, in a way, that's a little bit of an oversimplification, because some studies have shown, they've tested more specific things like, what if you're switching from something you know to something you don't know how to do so well? Well, it takes a lot longer to transition into something you don't know how to do very well. They've also studied switching between routine tasks. Interestingly, it takes longer to switch between a routine task that you know well than a non-routine task than you know that you also know well. So there's some intricacies here, but the main point that you need to know is that you lose a ton of time, not just a little bit of time, a ton of time, right? So we're thinking like, do you want to lose 80% of your day to switching between tasks? I don't think so. No. So what do we do instead? Instead, we need to pick the thing we're going to do, and we need to basically do it until completion and then move on to the next thing. And the amazing thing when we do this is that we get so much more done. Plus, we feel better because all that context switching takes a toll on our brains and it takes a toll on our mental, emotional state. We feel frazzled and frustrated, and it's hard to then, like, maybe be in the moment and engage with our kids or our loved ones or whatever that is. So we gain all that back by being focused on one thing at a time. That's my tip for you today. Do not multitask. Focus on one thing at a time. If you really want to get good at focusing on one thing at a time, I'll tell you my 2 top tips for that. 1, plan what you're going to do, big picture in a Kanban style, meaning you have what's coming up to do next column, and you can like literally put cards or sticky notes, or you can use a tool online. I like to use ZenKit, but you can do this with like Trello or Asana. Almost everybody has a Kanban model these days. And then you're going to have what you're actually working on, current, like what needs to be done now in the current day, in the current week. I like to put what's going to be worked on in the next 2 weeks in the what's in progress column, and then what's done. So we're kind of focusing on flow through and not filling up that in progress column. Then what I like to do, and some people that works great, you just get one thing done and move it over and move on to the next. I like to take what needs to be in progress over the next 2 weeks, break that up, and then I actually put things in my calendar, because the reality is I can't just sit around all day focusing on one thing at a time. I have meetings that are scheduled in based on other people's schedules. And so I block what I'm going to do around those meetings. Is there some context switching? Yes, but it's inevitable. And at least I've been realistic about the number of things that can get done in one day. And I've chunked them throughout the day. All right, that's all I have for you today. I will see you next week.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.